Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we have got two important stories from India. One about the how Indian Railways is working to dramatically reduce its carbon emissions and another about a major wildlife conservation move by Madhya Pradesh government to relocate tigers to the neighboring states. Let's begin with the decarbonization of Indian Railways. The railways have electrified nearly 45,000 kilometers of broad gauge track over the past decade, and today about 98% of the broad gauge network runs on electric rather than diesel. The shift to electric traction is important because diesel locomotives are a big source of greenhouse gases emissions and local air pollution. At the same time, the railways are integrating renewable energy. They have commissioned about 756 megawatt of renewable capacity. This includes 553 megawatt of solar, 103 megawatt of wind, and 100 megawatt of hybrid projects. Over 2,000 railway stations are already running on solar power, and some have received the Bureau of Energy Efficiency Shunya Net Zero certification. Another key objective is to increase the freight share of rail, that is moving goods by rail rather than road, to about 45% by 2030 through the use of dedicated freight corridors DFC. On the finance side, since fiscal year 2023, the Indian government has issued about 58,000 crore in sovereign green bonds, of which around 42,000 crore has been directed to transport electrification and rail expansion. Looking ahead, one of the most exciting innovation is the Hydrogen for Heritage program. The railway plan to introduce around 35 hydrogen powered trains on non-electrified heritage routes. For example, in July 2025, the first hydrogen power coach called a driving power car was successfully tested at the Integral Coach Factory in Chennai, and India is developing a 1200 horsepower hydrogen train. And why this matter? Transport is a major contributor to greenhouse gas emission, and rail is one of the most efficient modes when powered cleanly. By electrifying tracks, shifting freight from roads, embedding renewables, and experimenting with hydrogen, Indian Railways is not just reducing fuel bills and emissions but also helping meet India's climate commitments. For example, some estimates suggest that railway energy requirement will go up to around 8.2 gigawatt by 2030, and if powered cleanly, the emissions will be far lower. But the challenge remains electrification needs to be matched with clean electricity, otherwise, you are just shifting emission to grid. Hydrogen infrastructure is expensive and still nascent, and freight share targets require major operational and logistic changes. In short, significant progress, ambition targets, but also much to do. Next up is the tiger relocation plan in Madhya Pradesh. The state, long known as India's tiger state because it has the largest tiger population, has approved the relocation of one tiger and nine tigers to neighboring states such as Odisha, Rajasthan, and Chhattisgarh under an interstate conservation initiative. The idea is to move big cats from reserve where their population high to area where tiger densities are low, thereby balancing population, improving genetic diversity, and reducing pressure on overcrowded forest. Key source reserve for the relocation are the Kanha Tiger Reserve, Bandhavgarh Tiger Reserve, and Pench Tiger Reserve. The recipient states have been asked to prepare details on enclosure, prey base, water resources, installation of radio collar for tracking, and the levels of human interference around release sites. This move follows approval by the Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh during the 30th meeting of State Wildlife Board. The significance is that such translocation help release stress on habitat, widen tiger distribution, and support more balanced ecosystem. Of course, such initiatives have risks. Local communities may resist if they fear human-tiger conflict. New tigers may clash with the resident ones or stay into human areas, and if prey base or habitat isn't good shape, the relocated tigers may struggle. Also, there is no fixed timeline yet for this relocation process. To sum up, a proactive conservation strategy with solid reasoning and potential benefits, but one that still needs careful implementation and monitoring. So, two stories, one technological and environmental, the other ecological and wildlife centric, but both reflect India's growing focus on sustainability, balance, and long term thinking. For the Indian Railways, the shift is massive in scale and significance. Electrification of almost the whole network, introduction of renewables, freight model shift, hydrogen innovation. For Madhya Pradesh tiger relocation, it's about distributing ecological wealth, conserving species, and helping weaker reserves. If you enjoyed this update, please like this video, hit subscribe, and click the bell icon so you don't miss the next one. In the comments, let me know which story did you find more interesting, the green rail push or the tiger relocation, and why. I'll see you next time with more updates.